Good morning, good afternoon. I don't have a watch, so I don't know what the time is. But I'm grateful to all of you, to the TEDx committee for inviting me here. It's always a pleasure to come back to your roots. I am Perwez, and I work as an enterprise architect, and my job is to make complex things simple for business, for leaders, and for engineers, so that they can solve the problem. And I'm going to talk a little bit about software engineers and what it will take us to be a software engineer in the era of AI. Okay? So let me put you into, a lot of you may not be knowing what it is. It's a mobile device of our era, of my era. Like I want to control my son, how much time he's spending on his mobile. The same used to happen when I was a kid. And my parents used to control how much time I'm spending on, comic books. If you see this, there are two comics books, and this era is almost like 40 years back. I'm taking you 40 years back. And 40 years back, somebody thought of robots, right? If you read these comics, most of these comics talks about that a scientist created a robot, and that sometimes on some other planet, sometimes on Earth, to serve the human beings, and after sometimes the robot become a rogue robot. And then we have our hero, Follow Singh, who comes and who saves all of us. Interesting, right? And when I was reading these comics, I was wondering, right? I mean, I was asking some of the people, they used to say, "Beta, this is all comics. It's not reality." Come 2025. So, Max Tegmark, he's a physicist and he is an AI researcher. He gave us this model where he divided life and evolution of life in 3 different phases. The first phase is a biological phase, like a bacteria. The bacteria doesn't have any control over its hardware, which is body, or the software, right, which is its behavior. It's all genetically hard-coded in its gene. And if a bacteria wants to evolve, it takes generation. For example, if a bacteria finds that there is an antibiotic and I have to develop a resistance against that antibiotic, it takes generation for it to develop anti-resistance. Something changed in life 2.0. We human, we are much more smarter. We can always update our software. I was not born knowing English, but I can try to speak English now. I don't know what the hell was Java when I was born, but I learned Java. So I can upgrade my software. My hardware also evolves, right? Because I'm not restricted to the size of my mother wombs, right? I have grown up, right? But I cannot vertically scale myself, though I can horizontally scale myself by eating junk food. But vertical scaling is not possible, right? And this was the biggest limitation of human beings. I cannot increase my processing power. I cannot memorize all the Wikipedia. I cannot have it in my head because I cannot increase my memory. Now think about Life 3.0. Life 3.0 is all about an organism or an entity which can control, which has complete control over its hardware as well as software. If it wants, it can increase its memory, it can increase its processing power, it can replicate, and and it can learn at a speed which we cannot because of our biological limitations. And imagine this is what AI is all about. AI is about building such intelligent entities. Scared? Right? Because we are building something which is more intelligent than us, than what we will do as a human being. And if you are scared, let me share some of the other things. Like if you go to YouTube or any other social media, these days, you will always find that software engineering is dead. Software engineers are going to be taken over by English majors and wives. Right? So there is some reality in it, right? But there is a lot of hype storm that we are going through. Because software engineering is not only about writing code. There's a lot of other things like which a software engineer, if you see in this picture, you are in the center. And what's around you? The universe of responsibilities. It all starts with requirement gathering. And what is requirement gathering? It's all about communication. You have to ask the right question. You have to push back when you think something cannot be done. Do you think Copilot can jump into a Teams call and resolve all of these issues? It can't. So once you have requirement, you think about the architecture, cost, performance, security. You're not building system for today, you're building system for the future. Your system should be working in next 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. Design. What is design? Design is not about visual representation of something. It is about a structure. It is about a flow. It is about building something for the future generation. Because on your code, there is a future engineer who is going to work. And depending upon your design, he will curse you or he will thank you. The fourth thing is implementation. Yes, we all have signed for it. We all know that we have to implement the system. We need to code that system. But if you see this picture, it's still a single block. It's like a music in a symphony of decisions. It's not the symphony itself, right? It's not the whole world. And look at the environment where your code lives and breathe. Your containers, your CI/CD, your orchestration, your observability. If you think that coding is like an engine, then you have CI/CD, which is your fuel, it's road, it's the weather. And then none of these things exist in silo. You are not developing something in silo. You will have teams, you will have stakeholders, you will have negative stakeholders, you have positive stakeholders. There are so many things that we have to tackle day to day. It's not just about coding. So AI actually helps us to run faster. But which direction we have to run? Who decides that? You decide. Happy that we will exist? Yes? Not so. Don't be so quick. Think about life 3.0. Right, so this is another thing which with software engineer, right? I being myself a software engineer, somebody asks me to do something, yes, I will do it. How much time it will take? I will do it in 2 days. And then I will be struggling for 2 weeks to finish it. So we make very quick decisions without thinking about it. So it's not all bed of roses for us going forward. Because AI is not just a small technology, it's a technology, it's a disruptive technology. It's becoming a general purpose technology because it's so simple. It's so simple that everyone wants to build something with AI. It has become a general purpose technology like electricity, like internet. And whenever such technology comes, it disrupts It disrupts our society. It disrupts our jobs. And what we will do to survive? I'm not, as you can look at me, I'm not the strongest person. And obviously, I'm not the intelligent one also. But I survived in this industry for almost 20, 25 years. How did I do it? I started as a Oracle developer, and most of the time I was asked to write documentation. Right? At that time, I saw that there is another thing which is coming, which is internet, right? And then distributed computing, and I adapted. How do I know about it? Because I was curious. I was not the intelligent, I was not the strongest, but I was always curious. And because I was curious, I was aware of what's going on in the industry. And trust me, guys, in those days, there were no YouTube, there was nothing, right? Internet was just evolving, Google just came up. But how was I keeping myself aware? I used to walk in a bookshop. I was getting a very less salary at that time, but whatever I could save after paying my rent, my bus transportation from Noida to Gurgaon, changing to bus and then taking an auto to my office. And after eating something and having gajar ka halwa, I still remember the gajar ka halwa of Delhi. I used to, on weekend, I used to go always used to walk into a bookshop, go to the technology section and see what are the books that have come. And that's how I grabbed a book on Java and I started learning Java. And when the internet boom happened, I was ready for it. I was ready to adapt and transform myself from a PL SQL developer to a web application developer. Right? And this has happened throughout my life, right? I evolved so many times, architect, then become a practice, from constructor to builder, and then again become an enterprise architect, constructor. Then again, now I am working as a junior software engineer because I am living your life day in and day out and trying to figure it out, what it will take for me to be again successful in the era of, or when life 3.0 will be there. Transformation is what is needed, right? And transformation doesn't start by technology. Transformation is about always, like if I am talking about digital transformation of an enterprise, the technology transformation is not difficult. The people transformation is very difficult because the transformation starts here, not here. So we need to change our mindset. You guys have to think that you are not going to be a software engineer to write code, but you are going to be a software engineer to solve real world problem, the problem of the society. You should stop thinking that I am a Java engineer, I am a front-end engineer, I am a back-end engineer. You're not a front-end engineer, not a back-end engineer. Engineering is not about front-end, back-end, DevOps. Engineering is about turning ideas into solutions for the society, for the humanity. That's what is engineering. So we need to think, we need to change our mindset in such a way that we should start thinking in that way. We should stop thinking about being a programmer. You are not a programmer, guys. You are a software engineer. You are a software engineer. You are going to build things. You are not going to implement, just implement. Skill evolution. I can talk about skill evolution, but first let me again reiterate. I have done this so many times. In order to build something beautiful, you need to build a strong foundation. So your foundational skill is very, very important. Don't forget about it. Don't forget that you read, what you read in your third semester in DS or in fourth semester in algorithm. Don't forget about computer networks. Please, build your foundation. Second thing is be curious. Like I was, when I was working as a PL SQL developer, I found out, okay, the world is moving towards web application development. So build your AI ML skill. Learn about machine learning algorithm. You can start with the easiest one, like regression, clustering. These are easy ones for us to understand. Learn about ML, machine learning life cycle. How it starts with data, raw data, and then how it actually generates, gets trained into a model that will be, that answers so many of our questions. Learn about LLMs. Learn about AI APIs. Learn about frameworks that are evolving. LangChain, Spring AI. If you're JavaScript enthusiastic, learn about Lang4JS. LangChain.js, right? There is a framework. There is a framework for .NET. Look at those things. Learn about agentic workflow. What is agent? If you have written API, try to convert it into an agent and see how two APIs are talking to each other. Can I have two agents talking to each other? Trust me, guys, when I see a junior engineer opening, right, I was doing this research, like what does the industry looks into a junior engineer? I'm going to tell you, it's not my purpose to scare you, but they are the openings and the expectations are as good as a mid-level engineer. It's no more junior engineer. People don't like this term of a junior engineer. They want a problem solver, an engineer. So make yourself future-proof by learning, by adapting yourself to the new things that are coming, by being curious and by looking at what is happening around the world. And you are fortunate because you don't have to walk to a bookstore. You have everything on your fingertips. The last thing is about the domain matters. Why I put it, right? Because I'm supposed to be a technologist, and why I'm talking about domain? Because whenever I go into a new project, for the first 2 weeks, I'm scared to death. Guys, I'm going to fail. I will be kicked out of this project. Why? Because I haven't mastered the domain. So the 2 weeks of any project, you will not want to talk to me. Right? I will be cranky like anything because I am doing research. I am just trying to learn the domain, doing research. Because once you learn the domain, rest all becomes very easy. Coding it in Java, Python, Golang, C#, C++ is a toys game. The true game is to learn the domain, learn the business. Because then you will be able to think beyond what is there in the user story. You will think beyond how can I add value to it? And what's wrong in the domain? How can we optimize it? And that's where you will be able to give your input and people will start seeing value. So learn the domain. There are 2 more things which is not there, but I always tell this to every engineer that I meet. Take care of yourself, of your health, of your fitness. Don't be like me. Don't repeat the mistakes that I did in my life. right? Having burgers is good. We all love it. But take care of it, of yourself. Because it's very important, because it's not me who is going to write the future and who is going to write the life 3.0. It's you. The future belongs to you. The country, the whole world depends upon you and how well you do. So it's very important for you to be healthy. And for you, it's also very important to be very, very happy. Because when you are happy, you will be in a flow. And when you will be in a flow, you will be the most productive person. So be happy. Okay? With this, my final words, right? I will try to make it short. And it's not my words. It's a phrase, right? Proverbs. There are a lot of wise people, right? Intelligent people in life 2.0 also. Not everybody is like me. He said that every mountain has a path. But that path is not visible from the valley. Now, if you want to see that path, you have to climb that mountain. And how do you climb that mountain? You have to take smart decisions. Which path I have to take? There could be 2 paths, 3 paths. Which path is more, which will lead me to actually climb the, and this is what you have to do. You have to be a smart decision maker in your life. The next thing is that you need to be humble. You will need to be humble to the nature, to the mountains, weather, to the mood of the mountains. You need to be hungry. Yes, I want to see what is the mountain path offers. What does the nature, what does the mountain path offers? And you need to be resilient, because when you will try to climb that mountain, many times you will fall back and you have to restart. I wish that all of you climb and see the mountain path. Thank you so much.